About 40 minutes, so it's going to be a real pressure little tour and things. But where are you from?
Canada.
Florida, Canada, from the other part of the world. Now you're down under. Do you realise you're upside down? Yeah, that's a real worry it is. This is the north. This is the New Zealand as it is. This is a chart. Do you know the difference between a chart and a map? A chart is entirely to do with the sea. That gives you all the information that you need to have on your boat. Because if you haven't got this sort of information, you can get into real trouble. On the land, of course, it's easy because you're walking around and it just shows you all the bits and pieces of it. These are very important because it gives you the depths of everything and all the little where to go. And of course, each particular chart, this is a chart of the whole country. On the ships, they have individual charts for smaller areas in big numbers so they can actually guide themselves where they're going. That's pretty important. And we'll talk about navigation. So this is the North Island, this is the South Island down here. Have any of you done New Zealand? Oh, hey, you're missing out something. I've been to America, it's time you came down here.
Well, that's why we're here. We're doing it now.
Yeah, right. It's very quick. It's nice to do it. I've been around America all over the place with RVs and things, and so I know a lot about your country and Canada. So Kiwis are great travellers because they're so far from anywhere. When you go for 3 or 4 months. Anyhow, that's the North Island. This is the South Island. This lake in the middle is about 30 miles long and 20 miles deep. It is reported to be the largest volcanic explosion in the world way back, recorded by the Chinese. That this was huge. Something happened, and it was actually proved by the archaeologists through carbon dating and things. As a result, this is a huge thermal area around here. We have a little active volcano here that puffs a little bit of smoke occasionally, but not bad. Off here, off White Island, you may go past that on the way. Are you going down?
Yep.
No? You go past White Island, it is an active volcano. They'll probably go close to it to have a look. There's a fault line right here, and down in here is called Rotorua. When you're looking at the Maori names, take the vowel sounds, A-E-I-O-U. And when you look at it, if it's Rotorua, it's just Rotorua. You don't have to worry about the inflection or how they sell it. Just look at the vowels and pronounce them as they are. That's an easy one. By the way, do you know which is left and which is right on a boat, and which is starboard and which is port? You know how to recognise them all by now? All the short words are on the left, and all the long words are on the right. Now that's easy, isn't it? Piece of cake. There you are. And of course, you don't have back and front, you have aft and stern and all these things. So this is the South Island down here. These lakes down here are absolutely magnificent, and they are full of trout. A lot of trout fishing here. You cannot buy a trout in a restaurant. It is not allowed commercially. You can have salmon because we farm salmon, but other fish and things. But the tourists, the trout fishing is kept for tourists because it's a huge attraction. And so we've got 3 islands, North Island, South Island, and Little Stewart Island down here. There's Auckland Islands down here, but you're not going down there because it's too damn cold. So this whole area, of course, is a 200 economic zone which we look after for our fishing. Now, right here is where we are at the moment. There's the bridge in Auckland. We're here. The airport is out here. This is the second largest harbour in the southern hemisphere, and this is the largest one. They're estuarial. This harbour here is the deep harbour. Believe me, you can swim right here. It's clean. We've cleaned the whole thing up. Not too many ports you can say that about. And so the America's Cup was raced around this area here, and all these islands called the Hauraki Gulf is just magic. I've been around the world all over the place and had a look. We'll come back to here and say, this must be the most beautiful place in the world to sail. You can go half an hour, you can be on a beach out in an island or whatever, and you can't do that in California. There ain't nowhere to go much until there's a few islands outside. Same with Australia. You go outside the heads to Sydney and there's not too many places where you can go in a yacht. But here we are so lucky in all the beautiful beaches. Come on through here. It was decided that they needed to sign a treaty with the governing people of Europe here, Queen Victoria, and the Maori people to have some sort of understanding, because the Maoris were killing each other and they wanted protection and things. Anyhow, they decided to sign this treaty, which has 4 clauses. Come down, I better darken the people to protect their skin. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because believe me, they are black, and they're black down here. This is the largest island in the world. This is the southern continent that everybody was trying to find, but couldn't find it because it was just sitting here. And of course, little old New Zealand sits down here. Of course, it wasn't until 1769 that Captain Cook from England came down here and discovered New Zealand. But in actual fact, he didn't discover it because in 1642, Abel Tasman had come down from Indonesia. And Abel Tasman had left Indonesia looking for the lost continent, and he sailed westwards over here, couldn't find it, he came down and he sailed right past Australia till he got to Tasmania. And I've been, it's a very rugged, beautiful island, but the coast is rugged. And he said, I don't like this, so he sailed straight across here. And this equally is a very rugged coastline, and he anchored in here. He had a bit of an altercation with the Maori, so he up anchored and off. And he therefore didn't land in New Zealand, otherwise we might have been Dutch, you never know. Anyhow, when Captain Cook came down here, what he didn't know was about 80 miles north of him, the French were sailing down too, but he happened to be there first and put the flag down and said, this is New Zealand. But when you go down here to Christchurch, there's a little place called Akaroa, and it's a French colony. The French actually put a settlement down here. All the roads in Akaroa are French, but they of course didn't colonise the rest of New Zealand. It was all done by the English. And so he went right round New Zealand. He drew a beautiful chart, which I'll show when we go in there. Have they gone? Soon. And he then sailed off in a little place here called Golden Bay, and you may go past that on the way through, but I'm not sure. If you're coming this way and down the Bay of Islands around here, you may be just going straight. We're going back to Sydney.
No, we're going to Tahiti.
So are they going right round New Zealand?
Yeah, we're down around through here and then up and across to Melbourne.
Oh yeah, lovely. I mean, it's a beautiful old city, really better than Sydney, you know. It's a lovely old place. And then you go from here to here.
Go up to Sydney, I don't know where they go after that.
Oh, but you go over to Tahiti sometime.
No, we came from there.
Oh, you come from Tahiti. Sorry, so you came straight down here, into here and down.
Yep.
Ah, I'm with you. Thank you. I didn't know that.
From Hawaii.
Yes, yes. You know, Hawaii's nice too. When people say that the Melanesians come from Hawaii, it's not Hawaii, it's a mythological name. It has nothing to do with Hawaii. But why they do it, everybody gets confused with. Because in actual fact, Africans came way up to Europe, migrated down here and went here, and slowly over a long period of time came across. And the languages here, although they are different, they're similar. Because when Captain Cook was here in Tahiti, when he was observing the transit of Venus, he had a very nice, very, very good Tahitian who came with him. And when he came down here, the Tahitian and the Maori, they could understand each other, but they couldn't talk the language. So there was a similarity, and there's quite a rugged. All the migration here over a long, long period of time, they knew nothing about navigation, and so they wouldn't leave an island unless they could see the next one they were going to. And slowly they would go across, and they became a little bit better at navigation, and the Tahitians became very skilled at navigation using the stars and what have you. But of course, you know, over a period of time, it's all improved. Come on through. Every game in the world, it's huge. On Wednesday here, this place is Wednesday evening after work, they have races out here. And fun to watch. And of course, the day, using the kids to sail these things, they had to have when they had raced them around a triangular course, they had to put the top of the sail in the water all the time. So what did you have to do? They had to learn in school, going over and right and what have you. Now, when I was talking about a sailing ship gets blown along by the wind because it can't go into the wind. And all the American races, which are huge, you cannot use them by hand. So they've got big electrical supply on board the boat. So they put their foot on the little button, you know, and it goes bzzz. And the sails on these big mainsails, they go into the mast on a roller blind, and they hit a button and it pulls the sail out. On the front of the boat they have a winder, and it will unwind and wind up. I tell you, they're just amazing. I had the sort of the gear on my other boat, and it was wonderful because if you had a rolling headsail, when the wind got heavier and heavier, you could wind it in and wind it in and wind it in, because when you're in a storm of wind, you reduce your sail, and the first sail you reduce is the forward sail, one at the front. A big rope to hold it. They didn't have chain.
This is the anchor
Now
from the
today,
HMS Bounty.
on your boat, for instance, you've got an anchor and everything that's attached to it is chain. Now the idea is that any boat, anyway, if you're going to anchor a boat, your chain must be about 1.5 times the length of the boat. So you put the chain, the anchor down, and this long chain, and then your piece of rope. And the idea.